Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rolls Wise podcast. Gather around as we plumb some dark dungeon depths, or spelunk, or whatever else we do in these dark, dark places. Maybe just delve. Delving isn't too sexual, I don't think. Um, Anyways, my name is Mike, and I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my two fellow mischief makers. Who's giving me the X card already?
I was. Holy shit. I got too sexual for me.
My name is Brent, and I'm not sure where Mike's going with any of this. So come along for the adventure.
Yeah. My name's Jeff. Welcome to our unscripted.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, very rarely do I get an X card, but that would be
welcome. Welcome to Rollwise After Dark. Apparently.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Well, we're recording it after dark. Obviously, the episode will be up bright and early with your coffee.
Your spelunking coffee, apparently.
Hey, spelunk wherever you want to, I guess. I think you need a cave.
Splunk is a fantastic word to say. It's so fun to say, and it sounds so dirty, and it's not.
It isn't dirty, but it is a really fun word to say. So this week, now that we've gotten past that little bit of sophomoric humor, we're going to be talking about some topics that range from the new release of Candle Obscura to playing Cocaineowlbear and everything in between. So buckle up. I guess we're in for a wild ride. So before we really begin, though, I'm going to talk about Scavenger's Reign, and I'm already gushing about this new animated show that's on Max or HBO or whatever the fuck people call it these days.
It's just Max.
They call it just Max, but I think that's just the stupidest name. And I hate, sorry, HBO or whatever you call yourselves, but Max is stupid. I like HBO.
Well, I mean, HBO is the company, but HBO Max was the app, and so now it's just called Max.
It's still stupid. I hate it.
Well, yeah, because they're now owned by Discovery Time Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Or like everything
Discovery or whatever.
Like everything else.
Yeah, whatever the corporate amalgamation is now.
Yeah, it feels like all of your TV comes from either like Disney or those Discovery people. I don't know if there's anybody.
You can't fight the mouse. That's all I'm saying. Can't fight the mouse.
Well, somebody fought the mouse. Obviously, the Disney or the Discovery people fought the mouse. I don't know if they'll win, but needless to say, so the first 3 episodes kind of got dropped suddenly, and I remember seeing like a preview for this on YouTube some weeks back, and the animation style was a little bit strange. And so like it was one of those things where the world looked pretty amazing, but the people in it looked, like the animation for the people looked a little bit odd. But getting over that, I was able to really dive into those first 3 episodes, and I was like blown away. I don't know these people, but it was written and directed by Joseph Bennett and Charles Hetner. And it's based on this YouTube video that they did several years ago that was only like 7 minutes, and I'm kind of afraid to watch it in case it has like some weird spoiler bits in it. But it is like phenomenal. Like I can't believe I've seen something like this and I didn't even really know about it. Is just from what, like not knowing about it to being like in the weeds with this thing. It's pretty hard for me to go that route. I'm usually the skeptic that's like, it was okay. Yeah, it was fine.
But you like cartoons, so
I do. But what was amazing about this is, how like when sometimes somebody's weaving a tale and it's kind of surprising you and it's unexpected and things aren't following like the normal tropes and everything like that. It's doing that at every turn. Like they're just to give you the premise, there are some people, they're on a spaceship called the Demeter. They crash land onto this planet. I think they called it Vesta or something like that. And it's this planet is entirely alien. Fortunately, they can breathe, I guess, because, they didn't have to wear like any kind of oxygen masks or anything like that in their normal day-to-day stuff. But like everything about the planet is alien. Like it was very just, like it shows this guy getting into this creature, kind of Tauntaun style, pulling bits and pieces until these globules come out that they use for light sources. I mean, it is just like super weird and trippy in a lot of ways. Almost so much so that, like I was at the edge of my seat for most of the episodes just because I was curious as to what was going to be happening next. Because even though the world is so crazy and alien, I mean, the real aliens there are the people. And so by them crash landing on the planet, you actually see subtle ways in which the planet reacts to them. And in some ways, it's not so much. And in other ways, it seems to be pretty big. Like one of the characters, that storyline is following just this crazy trip because there's this little psychic creature thing. It's fucking weird. That's all I can say. Yeah. And if you read reviews about it, what's interesting is that people liken the storytelling techniques to kind of they're like, well, easiest thing to compare it to would be like comparing it to Studio Ghibli, because they have great characters in there, a unique story, really interesting, otherworldly kind of setting where, you just kind of mesmerized by what's on screen. And I feel for like having never heard of these people, for people to go like top shelf and be like, it's kind of like Studio Ghibli. Like that's.
I've read 2 reviews now, and they both of them have name dropped Mobius.
Really?
Which is a relatively high bar for me, but I have a comics type background. I'm not the biggest comic snob in the world, but Mobius's art is pretty unique. So,
but not like the movie Mobius, because that would feel very
no, the artist Jean Giraud.
The Mobius
painted
comics.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just watched that Jared Leto garbage.
Not Morbius.
No,
Morbius.
Not
Morbius, the
oh
living
gosh,
vampire.
No.
And comparing the two might start a fire somewhere.
It might.
I feel like somebody just combusted with that thought being in the air of the two being confused.
But you said Mobius. I mean, my brain was just like, that Jared Leto movie?
I know. I feel like somebody just had a stroke. Like somebody was like, I sense a disturbance in the force and tipped over because you made that comparison.
Here, I will post a link to the art of Morbius in our Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morbius
that's
good
because Mobius is a brilliant artist.
Comics
aside, Jared Leto is a good-looking dude who now has a band that's a cult. So.
I was gonna say I like some 30 Seconds to Mars songs. That's the most.
I like some 30 Seconds to Mars.
That's the most.
I'm not worshiping at the altar of 30 Seconds to Mars.
That's the most credit I can give Jared Leto, really.
So you got a link now in our Discord, Mike.
All right.
It was fun watching
Mobius's artwork.
It was fun watching Jared Leto get punched in the face in Fight Club. That's the other thing I could say.
He was in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Remember he had to destroy something. I just felt like destroying something pretty.
Yeah. He was Angel.
That was Jared Leto that he beat the heck out of.
I guess I never drew that conclusion because I don't think I've seen many movies that Jared Leto has been in, or Leto, whatever, that I've been like, oh, I love this because of him.
He's in a really good movie called Switchback, which also has Danny Glover in it.
Yeah, but do you love it because of Jared Leto, or do you love
it
because
he's good in it?
He's decent.
He can act. He really can. He doesn't always, but he really can. Yeah. Sorry, this is we're wandering far.
Welcome to the Jared Leto podcast
from Scavenger's Reign, but
but my main point is that now that we've discovered that you didn't just like insult my honor and I have to come back and find you. No, I mean it truly is. It is a really good TV series. It comes out on Thursdays, and even if you don't like animation, I cannot say enough to be like at least give it a try. Because the first thing is that these kind of things are so weird, so unique, and so interesting that it's like it may just flop. People might just get turned away because they're like, "Why would I want to watch that?" Like,
I don't know. The reviews seem pretty positive, Mike.
But
it'll be good inspiration for your Traveler game, Mike.
A Traveler. Well, actually, I was curious because I am curious. Like, I looked up just to see because I was like, "How can this just have like come out of nowhere?" And so I was looking, I was like, well, maybe there is an RPG that this is based off of. It doesn't look as though there's a Scavenger's Reign RPG. And so that's not like, I can't just go get that game and like have kind of plan the experience for you or something like that. But I did look online and I did ask people of Reddit. People in Reddit said that there are some games that might be able to help you. It hasn't been, I haven't got enough responses to really generate a strong correlation, and I haven't read the systems, but they did, like one person said, well, maybe at least the feeling of the art from like Ultraviolet Grasslands and the engine that they use might be able to simulate some of the stuff that they did there. Starsworn, so whatever that one is, the solo / GM-less / whatever game might do it. And I was like, well, I could give it a try. But also, of course, you have just the typical survival exploration games like Forbidden Lands from Free League publishing that could also be probably manipulated in a way to create a similar experience.
Well, I mean, like Mutant Zero. There's plenty of games. Like, it depends on how deep you want to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and especially like because Mutant Year Zero would be like a good if you wanted to do it after the apocalypse. But this is one of those like.
Well, it's generally weird. Gamma World would be good too, probably, because
Mhm.
Gamma World really focuses on the weird, and I think Gamma World is kind of inspired by Morbius, actually.
It might be like I'm looking at
Mobius,
some of the
not
image.
Morbius. Jesus
Mobius.
Christ! You ruined me, Mike. You
I
ruined
have.
me.
Yeah, how did you? Yeah, quit making those connections, Mike.
Well, you're the one who did it.
Morbius. No, you did it.
No, but I am looking at this, and the artwork does seem to have that kind of like fantasy, strange, psychedelic.
Yeah, and if you give it a few, I mean, if it's popular, there'll probably be a role playing game about
It might be.
eventually.
One person did point out that like how the game or how the show has played out so far would basically indicate you'd have the most complicated tables, things, and all that stuff going into it. And it's like, and I got
If
the
you're running it
impression,
like an OGL game.
well, if you did, yeah, I mean that's true. But I think what's funny to me is that like I never played No Man's Sky, right, the video game, but I feel like what I just watched on in Scavenger's Raid is kind of how I expected people to go into No Man's Sky and just have these really alien type of experiences where this world is just so weird and it's littered with life that doesn't make sense to me, but makes sense in its perfect little ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's actually how the game plays, or at least I don't think it did in the beginning. So
yeah, I don't think No Man's Sky. No, I looked at No Man's Sky and I was like, hard pass. It was a game that did not have any features that excited me, so I haven't looked at it very much either.
Well, I mean, I think now after many updates, after a couple of years, it's apparently in a much more playable state than the beginning. So
I mean, I'm not even talking about playability. It's just not just the wander around sort of game where like nothing really happens. And I know stuff happens, but nothing really happens, in my opinion, to my attention deficit disorder brain.
No deep ones come out.
Yeah, no deep ones come out. Like, you're not shooting at people 5 seconds out of the plane. That sort of stuff. There's a reason why I like Borderlands. Frenetic pace is one of them.
This is too boring. I need to shoot things.
I need things to do. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, I just assume that, like those people that are kind of like, oh, I want to go in this for the exploration would apparently not be you.
It's a solid exploration game. It is.
Okay. But needless to say, it has like a double thumbs up for me in terms of go watch this because it's good. I mean, honestly, I feel like I get so rarely get excited about things these days, like new products. I'm like, oh, that was a good movie. Like I feel like things are like, oh, that was a good movie. Oh, that was pretty decent. I rarely go, that was fucking amazing. I have to go watch it again. And like Dungeon Crawler Carl was one of those books that I read the first time and I was like, this guy has struck lightning and it's so weird and it works. And then this TV show is kind of in that same boat for me. I feel like this is in that top shelf kind of thing.
So to sum up, go watch Scavenging Rain. Don't go look up Mobius.
Go look up Mobius.
And don't go watch Morbius.
Yeah, skip Morbius. Out of those three things, Morbius is the one you should not consume.
Although I do have to say, the fact that it turned into a imploding meme, like It's Morbin Time, got it more time in the theater, which it then failed just as hard. Like, I can't. It does make me laugh, and I did actually make my way. That's why you can't
make up your own catchphrases.
It's Morbin Time is pretty fucking funny though.
Wait, did they say that in the movie?
I don't think it was. I think it was part of like the press junket or something like that. Like, because I think it was a meme that turned into something they adopted, and then because they thought there was like a groundswell of like people that like, know what I think?
I hope some like press person lost their job for that because they should have. It's Morbin Time. Yeah,
I mean,
it's Morbin Time.
There is a YouTube for a scene.
Maybe it's in the movie. Fuck, I don't know. I don't
Fictional
remember it being in the
catchphrase.
movie, but then
I
again, I
don't
tried to
know.
forget everything part of the movie. So, okay. So does that mean we move on to Candela Obscura then?
Sure.
Now that
Yeah.
we know what that. Okay.
I think the whole world's excited.
Sure. So Candela Obscura, we'll talk about it more generally in just a moment. I'm just going to hit some high points first. The first thing is that Candela Obscura, we played the quick start several months ago at this point. I mean, I guess like it's weird how time flies so quickly. High points is
weird
it
how
uses
time moves.
weird how time just keeps on moving forward. It's not like people have sang songs about that or anything. It uses the illuminated world systems designed by Stras Asimovic and Layla Alderman. It is a D6 system, which kind of they've tailored towards shorter episodic stories. It does take inspiration from games like Blades in the Dark and Basin in terms of like how it uses its narration style and how you investigate things and all that kind of stuff. But it does, of course, try to put as much control on the players as possible, and also giving kind of unique aspects to how the players get damaged, I guess is the way to put that. You know, like they can take scars and either physical, mental, or what was the other thing? Umbral? Was that the other?
It might have been.
I think
something
so.
like that. So why do we want to just mention the game now? This game comes out in print, the full print, November 14th, according to the website. And it's going to be available at Critical Role Shops, Darrington Guild partner stores, local friendly game stores. But local friendly game stores that aren't partnered apparently only get the standard version. And there is a standard version for $39.99 and a deluxe version with faux leather for $59.99.
We couldn't get real leather for $59.99. That's where the state of the economy is. I know that's a weird nit to pick, but
I don't know. Is it common for you to get real leather books? I thought faux leather was
is just all the rage now. Okay, maybe it could be. I'm old.
I mean, Brett, you have all the books. Like, are any of your books bound in human flesh, or
That's not. I don't know where who've been talking to, but that's not the only place you get leather, Mike. You can get leather from other animals.
He doesn't own the Necronomicon.
I do not. And if I did, you would know about it. Trust me.
how would I know?
Everyone
Everyone would know.
Just like Brent shows up one day, he's just
there's
like,
only one answer to that. Everyone.
I only have one pair of leather-bound books, and that is the second edition Mage the Ascension books.
Really?
Yeah.
You bought the nice ones? Those are probably like $80 though.
Yeah, these are the old ones. These were like $80 25 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So those are the only ones I've ever
for the
sprung
faux
for.
leather is.
I don't think you get books in leather
sense.
very often. I don't think you get books very often in leather anymore.
Well, I mean, nowadays with the advances in mushroom leather, you might start getting mushroom leather books.
I just don't think people want to pay for leather-bound books anymore. The market on books is so.
I don't know. Have you guys? This is a total aside. I know that's a rarity for us lately. Is a squirrel.
We're professional.
Like print books, like the special editions, like the real short. But they're all hype. You know, they're all gold leaf on the outside and artwork, and you know these books that you can buy at the bookstore for $20 are now $150 a piece. Like they're beautiful, they're absolutely gorgeous. But some of those they're doing in leather. Like for
a lot of the special edition books are pricey now.
Well, I think they found that there is a niche market for it because
there
are people that have kind of gone away from.
They just don't run a ton of them.
Right? No, exactly. It's limited.
For example, when DeGenesis was running their special, their holiday special to buy like their entire run, you could buy their collector's editions again, and they only did like 100 of them or something like that. But they were like
that makes sense,
$150 a piece or something like that.
Okay.
And obviously people would buy. I mean,
there
wasn't an unlimited demand for them, but at least there was enough.
They were sold out because somebody may have looked at them.
But it wasn't back to Candela Obscura.
Candela Obscura. I think
it's a neat little game if you haven't played something like that.
I think people will definitely spring for the collector's edition of those books because I think you're going to get a lot of the people that are a fan of the show, and kind of want to be part of that
Mhm.
visual piece, and I think they'll spring for it.
Yeah, they're going to sell a lot of the it's only $20 more. So
Well, that's what I said. I was like, I spend $60 on a regular edition of a book many times. So like, wow, I can get the deluxe edition for the same price.
And they'll probably get double sales where people will buy those leather-bound collector's editions and not ever want to use them at a table.
Honestly, both versions on the website look really nice. I'm staring at them right now. So they did a really nice job, which I didn't doubt.
So, I mean, I don't think and I think we discussed this when we played Candle Obscura, and I know that of course, ruffles people's feathers. I don't think the game is unique enough on its own to be I'm passionate about. And obviously, we're not Critical Role followers. We haven't watched every episode dozens of times or anything like that. Not to say that we don't like Critical Role. There are very many. I love watching some Critical Role clips because the heights in that show are really high. The clips that they get out of it where people have these scenes that are created and stuff can be fucking phenomenal depending on where it is. So I think that they do an amazing job in a lot of the things they do. I just haven't followed them since the beginning, and I have no attachment to their stuff. But that being said, I do think that the edition looks nice, and I would be curious to almost get it because I did like a lot of the art that came with the quick start. It was very much in a style I liked. And I'm also curious because there's actually two parts that, aside from the art, that were very interesting. Is I'd be curious to know what kind of tips and tricks and stuff like that these people had put together for creating mysteries in their own words. I'd be really curious to read what that section has to say, because I'm sure they have their own spin, their own best practices and everything along those lines. And I think that could be a very good read. And then secondly, I would be really curious to see what kind of safety tools they ultimately came up with and how they wrote a book that was quote unquote primed to be, fully vetted by sensitivity readers and everything like that. I'm really curious to see what that modern progressive role-playing game looks like from an accessibility standpoint.
No, so those are good points. I'm probably not picking it up. I liked it, but we have played other games and we have used other systems that are similar that I'm probably more invested in at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But the quick start rules were really well done. I've seen some real slapdash quick start rules. These were nice. It's going to be a quality. I think it's going to be a quality product. Yeah. I'm a little more excited to see what Daggerheart looks like. Mm-hmm. But it's nice that their first release. I'm all for more competitors in the role-playing space, for more products, for more options that are coming from more authors and more creative minds. So I hope it does well.
I agree.
I think it will.
And in the vein of needing more creators and more authors, never mind using Gamma World. It's a Wizards of the Coast product.
Wasn't it a TSR product, or did it go from original. TSR?
It went from TSR to Wizards.
That's funny. Yeah, no, Gamma World.
So never mind on the Gamma World.
So I do have one more thing that I could talk about with Candle Obscura is that I found it funny because, apparently, so when you go to the Darrington Press website, you can go to these things and they're called a local guild store. And they're your friendly game store that apparently has somehow affiliated themselves with Darrington Press, probably through
money,
black magic or something like that. I don't know.
The black magic of money. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, black magic and the dark dollars. Yeah, but no. But it was weird because it was the first, I called in to be like, hey, I was wondering if you guys are really a Darrington Press store, because I was looking at the website and they said I can buy the deluxe edition from you. And I was wondering to know if I could just put my name down for a copy. And they were like, we can neither confirm nor deny that we're getting copies of this book. And I'm like, what? Do you guys not know when you're ordering this? They're like, what is happening here? I'm not a member of the press. I mean, I guess we're on a podcast, but it was such a weird fucking interaction. I was like, are you being evasive?
That's what happens when your prayers to the green god fail. You did not offer them enough money to tell you.
Hey Brent, I just used the locate guild stores on their website. Both of our friendly local gaming stores are apparently guild stores.
They've also done the black magic, but they can neither confirm nor deny if they're going to get the fucking book, I guess. Whatever
that
means.
That just means that the Darrington Press fancy books will just be on the shelves for a while until somebody like me comes in and goes, "Ooh, you have this."
Maybe.
Ooh.
I mean, what was just weird to me is that the guy was there was just like, well, since we don't really know what's going to be happening with this release, like speaking all cryptically, is like, if you have an inside track at the website, you should just get it there. I'm like, inside track? What the fuck? I just Googled this. Like,
they do that shit with 40K releases too, where it's like, we don't know if we're going to have it. It's like, what the fuck? I was like, it's fucking the release date's on the website, man.
Yeah, there's been a press release. It's official, dude. You can quit pretending like. I think what the problem is I think a lot of them probably ordered 3 copies, and now there's hundreds of people calling them, asking about them, and they're going to have to admit 4 minutes after they open that day that they're sold out,
or they
can't get any more,
or they don't want to order a bulk of them and then have no one come in and have people not come in and get them.
So, but at least at my game store, what I do is I go in, give my name, and pay for a part of the book as like a down payment, and then they give me a book. Like I've done this with multiple releases so far, so I don't know why this one's so weird and cagey.
Because Darrington Press is special.
It's that fucking black magic.
They're gonna have Pinkertons escort their books into the bookstore.
Yeah, could you imagine like a Brinks guy bringing these fucking books in? Like
that'd be amazing. That would be worth the extra money.
Like you see some dude with 16-inch biceps hauling in books.
So Brent, for our listeners, just dropped his weekly reminder of the Pinkertons. So if you caught that, please comment at the bottom of this video, Pinkerton.
I did both. I put in my Hasbro dig, my Hasbro World Wizards of the Coast dig, and I put in a Pinkertons reference. So if you're playing the Roll-Wise drinking game, that's 2 drinks you have to take.
The Roll-Wise After Dark that is published at 8 a.m. Just take some swigs. We know there's some whiskey in that coffee. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's Friday. Irish up the coffee.
Okay.
We do not. Here, Roll-Wise, we do not.
We do not advocate being at 7 a.m. Where's my card that I have to
drink
read?
Safely?
Jeff said.
Where's my card?
Where's my card?
So if you're
saying so many times, I have it written down on a card now.
So if you're obviously upset about us talking about day drinking, let's go to our next game, playing Cocaineowlbear.
You can't. No one can be upset about me about day drinking because I don't drink at all. So
you don't.
I mean, we're saying go at your own pace. You may not be the best judge of drinking, Brent, but
never have Brent mix your drinks. That's for sure.
It's just like, I heard the more alcohols, the better. Blub, 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 blub.
How is this? Too strong? Holy shit. Did you put anything else in there?
Well, they said splash of Coke, so I just kind of like took a thing and I splashed.
I had an eyedropper. There's 2 eyedroppers.
I made a splash.
Anyways, the next game.
So next game, Cocaineowlbear. So as we discussed, was it last week that we discussed Cocaineowlbear a little bit?
Yes,
we did.
Yeah, so we had kind of talked about it. We had talked about the premise of the game is that you're woodland creatures that basically kill a courier, I guess, and snuff all of it.
I think it's find him dead.
Yeah, we find him dead.
Yeah,
sure.
And we accidentally get into his cocaine.
Yeah,
and then
become
we become sentient
creatures.
Cocaine equals sentience.
Well, murder is a concept that would only be in sentient creatures, so I would say we found him dead was probably more likely.
Because it was pre-cocaine killing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But we had an opportunity to play Cocaineowlbear. And so just so you guys are aware, you can get Cocaineowlbear from DriveThruRPG for $3 whole, or you can go to Itch and get it for $1 whole. So I don't know why the difference in price or anything like that. But I picked up a copy off of Itch just to try it out. It's only 3 pages. Very simple rules. D6 all around. And it basically uses 2 stats. Woodland creature and cocaine, because any game with the stat of cocaine, I mean, why would you need many more stats after that? And basically, your characters are balancing their woodland nature versus their drive for cocaine. By failing each of these stats, I guess you increase the appropriate stat, and so if you do increase your stat over a certain point, 6 or more, you effectively either become a normal woodland creature again, or you become a lifelong criminal,
Cocaine addict,
lifelong criminal of cocaine addiction, which in the game you're just playing as one. I don't know what the difference is after the 6. I guess you start stealing TVs.
So the only reason I know this is because I watched a little bit about Honey Heist, and I described Cocaineowlbear as Honey Heist reskinned for deviants, like us. So what happens is when you go to 6 in animal or fuzzy woodland creature, yeah, you become a fuzzy woodland creature again and just wander off. If you go to 6 in cocaine, you become a criminal who will betray the party to get more cocaine. So you become an NPC who functionally works against the party. So yeah, and in Honey Heist, it's you become a bear, like a regular bear, or you become a criminal who like steals from the party and like becomes antagonist of the party.
I don't think it didn't really seem to read that you became an antagonist in the game, but that makes a lot more sense, in all honesty. Not to say that there's a lot of rules to read with this, but this definitely has like OSR spirit written all over it. Your heist is randomly generated by just a few tables. There's not a lot of depth to the tables, so you as whoever's going to be the judge, referee, GM, keeper, whatever the fuck you want to call him, is going to have to do a lot of the filling in the gaps. And obviously, depending on how your players approach it, you could have an immense amount of fun. Our group was basically going against a gnome chemist who was cooking up a bunch of cocaine in an old warlord's castle. And there was an image where Jeff's character was just snorting more cocaine because he was becoming too much of a woodland creature. I
dubbed him Scarface the owlbear.
Yeah, I mean, he was just beak deep in cocaine. And it was a very weird thing because obviously none of us are real into the cocaine. And so
the hint is that Mike refers to it as the cocaine. Like your youth pastor.
There's also some visual cues I feel like you could take from me that I don't do cocaine.
Well, I see some white in that beard.
Yes, gray hair. Like, yeah, and about 300 pounds more than a coke addict.
I was going to call out the obvious, but of course, I did find it funny because I just wanted to quickly on the fly find out what the effects of cocaine were, and I did type it into ChatGTP. ChatGTP does not play with drug use, just so everybody's wondering, because I had to actually do a real Google search to find out how cocaine affects the human body, and obviously,
they don't mess with it.
Google was very worried for me.
I'm sure I'm on multiple Google lists about a variety of different things.
So, and speaking of weird sidebar, did you guys hear that apparently Snapchat was like the new Silk Road in terms of how to get illegal drugs, and it's being sued right now?
No, I didn't hear that, but I don't have Snapchat. I had it. I never used it. I deleted it. I don't miss it.
How random is that? It was just like a weird story I read. And of course, because it's topical to the Cocaineowlbear, obviously no one should go to Snapchat looking for drugs based on this. But I thought that was weird because I was like, how does that even work? I must not have any idea what Snapchat is at this point. Because in the beginning, when it was just like, send a photo that is ephemeral and goes away in 6 seconds. That's about as far as I got.
I don't know. It'll probably just be another thing that Montana bans. It's an app that you can't have on your phone. How are you going to enforce that? We're not.
So, needless to say, so we had fun playing Cocaineowlbear. I mean, it is very fun. Much.
My favorite.
It was fun. It's very short, but
my favorite moment from Cocaineowlbear was giving the dog cocaine and telling him to throw the chains off, free himself from the chains of his oppressors. That was my favorite part.
Yeah. So needless to say, it has its moments and can be fun. I think you have to really kind of appreciate the OSR style of game to really get into it, where you're not going to get a lot of rules to kind of tell you how to play the game. And some people find that to be a strength, and some people find that to be a weakness because there wasn't a lot like, how do you fight in Cocaineowlbear?
Roll a 6.
You just roll a d6 and hopefully your woodland creature is good enough, I guess.
Or depending, like if my raccoon was wielding a screwdriver, I would say it would be cocaine at that point. But I think it's one of those games. It's a beer and pretzels game where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody's not there, which is what happened to us. Oh, somebody's not at the game. What do we want to do? I don't know. Let's try this. You make a character in a couple seconds, and then I don't know. You play goofy pretend with your friends.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And I think that's what you need to get from. And I'm sure Honey Heist is the same way, except less cocaine. But like, yeah, I mean, I was a raccoon, a twitchy raccoon with addicted to cocaine. And we had an owlbear face that didn't talk to anybody because it's an owlbear. Why would it negotiate with anyone?
I did try to negotiate. They did not appreciate my negotiation tactics.
Give me all the cocaine on a steady
Give us
stream.
the cocaine or we'll burn the castle down.
Yeah. And then what happened? We burned the castle down.
The castle down.
It's true. It's true.
Because we were a raccoon and an owlbear addicted to cocaine.
Yeah. So needless to say, could we recommend it? I think honestly, any game that you can buy for $1 that's that much fun, it's fine.
I think so. I think it was fun. I think I'd play it again.
Yeah, like I mean, you could get at least one play out of that.
You're not gonna have a cocaine bear campaign. No, you're not gonna.
No.
You're not gonna plan out the next 6 weeks of cocaine bear. I don't think.
Deluxe rules for cocaine bear.
Well, and even if you want to leave the drug part behind and just play Honey Heist, you're not going to play Honey Heist probably 100 times. You know what I mean? You're not going to play it every week.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to play.
But every once in a while,
your Honey Heist campaign, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's fun, and I think more players, would. It's a fun, goofy time, and as long as you go into it with that mindset, I think you'll be fine.
And it's one of those games where it really, it can really engage like your imagination and kind of like that improv kind of style. Like if you have a group that you want to kind of work on it and just be like, hey, we're just going to be silly. I think that's a great game to kind of do that. Like, like if you have a player who's worried about like being imaginative and adding to a scene, like being like, you're a cocaine addicted raccoon might be a good place to start. Like do whatever you want. You're a raccoon who talks now and is addicted to cocaine, or you're a owlbear that wants to make friends with people and hug them. Maybe to
hug them. Yes. No, I was hugging.
Hug
Lots
them.
of hugging.
Yeah. So with that in mind, we recommend playing it. You can get it from Itch. You can get it from Drive-Thru. Your choice on price. And of course, we'll lead that into our next game, Monster of the Week. Now, Monster of the Week is something we're not playing this coming Monday because we're going to be finishing up our Delta Green game. And so just as kind of another plug, 40 minutes into the show, we are doing live plays on Monday. Most Mondays, it seems at this point, maybe holidays and special events excluded. But we play at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're a night owl, you want to come hang out, listen to some people, some amateur role players doing an actual play of a variety of games, stop by, join in, have some fun. Listen, tell us how good we are. Tell us how bad we are. We don't care. We just want to say hi.
We alternate GMs around the three of us. So if you want to hear kind of different takes on how to do things or different types of games, you can always tune in.
Yep. And so my next game will be Monsters of the Week. And so just as kind of like a primer, just so you guys are aware of what the game is. I don't think, honestly, that the game is so new that people aren't aware of it, but just in case. So Monster of the Week was a tabletop role-playing game created by Michael Sands. Now, I don't really know Michael Sands, like in terms of from the gaming world. Like when I looked it up, I really think this is all he's kind of tied to. However, this was a great game, and it seems like he was inspired by the Powered by the Apocalypse system, and he wanted to take kind of some of his favorite things, like TV shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Files, and horror and paranormal fiction, and kind of translate that into a game. This game was first created in 2015, and the game is basically where you, as players, take on the roles of hunters who investigate and confront paranormal threats, vampires, werewolves, etc., etc. And as opposed to games like Call of Cthulhu, the hunters in these games are actually the heroes of the story and can solve the threat. Not to say that every mystery is going to every mystery is going to obviously mean that you as the hunter are just going to go stab the monster and that's going to be the end of it. You guys aren't space marines and you don't solve all of your problems with a chainsword. You guys, will be investigating a monster, investigating a mystery. Like, what is motivating the monster? Like, what weaknesses does it have? How do we exploit those weaknesses to solve the mystery? And sometimes the monster may get away. Those kind of things do happen. But because it's based on the Apocalypse, powered by the Apocalypse system, it is going to be a narrative-driven gameplay as opposed to a very heavy mechanical gameplay. And so you'll notice that a lot of the things are basically roll dice plus a stat. And so that's 2 dice that you're going to use for this are going to be 2d6. I don't think you use any other dice for this system. I think it's all just 2d6 based on my reading.
2d6 system, yeah.
And so, I mean, you don't need a lot of dice. A lot of things are going to be derived from this. And the other unique thing that I believe Brent has mentioned before is that the DM doesn't roll dice in this. The DM is going to say, oh, I believe, the DM is going to balance the moves that they have as a DM, and any move that they force are going to be forcing the players to roll dice. So I'm not going to be like in D&D rolling my D20 to see if I hit you. The premise is going to be, okay, well, we get in combat. I'm going to hit you hard with a move. And these all come, and we'll describe this more in greater detail when we get towards playing and all that stuff. And now, how do we resolve this conflict? How much damage do we take? How much luck do we expend? Those kind of things.
It's really all character driven. So a lot of times it'll be like, I am going to make. I don't remember what I don't know what their attack thing is. Like in Cult,
kick some ass.
Kick some ass. I'm going to kick some ass. And then you do your dice rolls, and like your kick some ass isn't just like you attacking. Your kick some ass is more like a combat sequence. So like if you fail, like you might take damage, or
even if you succeed, you might take damage. But depending on,
not a success. There's not a success. There's a success with complication. There's success with complication, and then failure.
Well, yeah. So
and we'll get into this. If you just succeed, there's no downside. Success with complication is where the downside.
So yeah,
we'll come into that later.
We'll talk about the nitty gritty of the mechanics later and all that kind of stuff. And since it's so narrative driven, this is really if you wanted to play your own kind of rules light version of X-Files or your own rules light version of whatever Monster of the Week kind of thing, because that's the name of the game. You could definitely do it, and it plays well to the episodic stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and plug one actual play that I've kind of been drawn to because of this. It's called The Crit Show. They seem like they're a dedicated Monster of the Week podcast /show, and they have some pretty good resources for how to run the game, how to play the game. They have tons of episodes already online. So if you want to see how professionals that have kind of dedicated themselves to the craft of this game play it, you can definitely see them too. But we're going to just kind of take the toe dipping approach to this and see how the game plays and see if this is a game we really like. So, and of course, if you want to buy the book, you can. They have a new hard copy, which is a revision of the 2nd edition soft copy. So there are some 24 additional pages. They moved some stuff from some of the other books into this. So it does have the most complete version of the game. However, I was going to read an article. I didn't have a chance to, but it seems like Michael Sands, if he were to write the game today, he would actually write it different than he had before, which is interesting.
Yeah. And it is Evil Hat Games. So they did like Blades in the Dark and Fate and all those. So it's a pretty reputable
company,
tabletop RPG company. And I think there's a lot of, I think Monster of the Week, might, in my observance, is one of the more popular, powered by the Apocalypse, using their rules.
Yeah.
So
it seems like it is, at least. I mean, I can't. I mean, honestly, off the top of my head, I can't think of too many powered by the Apocalypse games.
Dungeon World's the other
Dungeon World is one, as I mentioned. Yep. But I mean, obviously, powered by the Apocalypse is Apocalypse World. That was also the other one too.
I don't think Apocalypse World is that. I don't think it sells as well as Monster of the Week or
really
or Dungeon World. Yeah, I don't think it's as popular a game as those other two.
Oh, maybe sometimes they first worm gets the cheese or something like that.
The first worm would have been Apocalypse World though. if you if you look at real plays, like you can always find Monster of the Week. Real plays, like quite a few people play that. You can always find. I think you can find Dungeon World pretty frequently, but like Powered by the Apocalypse World, you don't see it very often.
And maybe I know that you have definitely explored the real play world landscape a lot more than I have, but I'm kind of excited to run it. I can't say that I'm
excited to
like,
play.
I can't say that I'm personally like a super X-Files or Buffy person.
Supernatural was your choice, right? Like Supernatural is the other one. Supernatural is the other one that's inspired by quite a bit.
Yeah, I can't say personally I've watched a lot of Supernatural. I've seen like the worst part is I've seen bits
We
and
know
pieces
you
of
have,
all
Mike. We can tell.
these series. I don't even know how many seasons it has, other than I think in Netflix.
Supernatural, it's like 15 or 16.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
it's so many, and I just don't know. I mean, I already have one guilty vice that I can't share about, what 15 season. Okay, I watched Smallville. Okay, leave me alone.
I think that's acceptable.
I don't know if everybody would agree. It's my little CW show that I like.
Smallville had its moments.
I've seen a couple episodes of both Supernatural and Buffy. So,
oh yeah, I've seen some too. I had friends that definitely loved Buffy to death, and it was just one I liked it. I think I watched 3 seasons or something like that, but they definitely never got into the same level that they did.
I prefer Buffy the movie.
Mm-hmm. That's true. However, if you want to get into stuff, talk about Doctor Who. Ooh, I got into Doctor Who pretty hard. I don't know if that's Monster of the Week-esque, but same kind of episodes, right?
No. Some episodes, maybe.
Yeah, some are. They obviously have weird things like, human skin suits, those kind of things. It's fun. And there's a new Doctor Who coming in November, the 60th anniversary. Mm-hmm. So maybe we should be playing a Doctor Who themed game.
There has to be a Doctor Who. There has
to be something.
Cubicle 7 put out a Doctor Who game, and you can actually play in many of the Doctors, including I think even the Jodie Whittaker time has a Doctor. I think it was Cubicle 7.
It is Cubicle 7.
Yeah.
So. Who also had the Warhammer 40K property for like a month.
A small period of time. They've got some weird things under their belt, but I think when I looked at Doctor Who, I saw a lot of Doctor Who available.
Yeah, there's a lot of Doctor Who on their website. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I didn't actually know there was a Doctor Who role-playing game. I always shy away from games that have such a strong central protagonist character. Well, because it's always a little bit weird when it's like, I guess you play the Doctor in the Doctor Who game, it looks like, but it's always kind of interesting. Like that was one of the things that's interesting with the Conan game.
Who do you play besides the main? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you're obviously in a TARDIS, and you're just 2 guys that got out of a pub, and you just walked in, and the TARDIS said, "Woo, woo."
That would be a fun game, though. But no, you're the Doctor and a companion, is what it looks like, and a couple of companions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll see if I can find one of the books on drive-thru or something like that, and we could, and maybe we'll play it in collaboration with, as in a one-sided collaboration.
As in they're going to collaborate with us, sure.
As in they're going to play the episode and we're going to play the game.
Yeah, if we blow up by then, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. We need your help. Like, subscribe. Tell the world that we need to be out there or something. Whatever. But needless to say, that could also be on the future agenda, because I think the Monsters of the Week one will probably only go for a session, maybe 2, depending on how off track these 2 yo-yos get.
He means incompetent.
Don't get that far off track.
I mean, the problem is that it's our weakest style of game. Like, it's investigation, and so I could see this being very much it's a tough one. So okay, so then I guess we talked about a lot of things today. We talked about why you should watch Scavenger's Reign, a little bit of Candle Obscura, a little bit of Cocaineowlbear, a little bit of Monster of the Week. So I think it's going to be
a little bit of splunking,
a little bit to do with spelunking. Go explore those caves, especially the really tight ones.
We're back to the squeeze.
Yep. Moving on. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think we could wrap it up unless you guys have anything else.
No.
Okay, Jeff. tell people how to find us.
If you want to track us down on social media, you can look on Threads, Facebook, YouTube, or X at Rollwise. And to email us, it's rollwiseguys@gmail.com.
And as always, thank you everybody for joining us. If you made it this far through all of the madness, we appreciate you. As always, roll wise and roll well, and be safe out there.
All right. See you, everybody.
See ya.